Hi everyone, welcome to our Module 3 of the Azure uh, topic. So this one we're going to talk about Azure Storage. My name is Xiao Tao and myself is the Microsoft Certified Trainer from 2018 November to this year November. Also, I'm currently a tech lead at Microsoft. So yeah, again, we're going to break this module into two sessions. The first one, which is this one, I'm going to introduce storage accounts and blob storage. The next one we'll introduce actually is file storage and storage security. Let's get started. So this one, again, I will do the talking first, and we'll show the demo. So Azure Storage. Azure Storage is essentially a service, so it's a durable and highly available service, and it provides redundancy to ensure that your data is safe in the event of transient hardware failures. So you can also option to replicate data across your data center, Microsoft data centers, or geographic regions for additional protection in case of any catastrophe or natural disaster. So anyone who has done DR before, this term is not really new to you. Of course, it's secure, so all data written to Azure Storage is encrypted by the service, and it provides you with fine-grained control over like who has access to your data. I believe we showed this as well. It's scalable, so it's designed to be massively scalable to meet the data storage and performance needs for any of your application today. You can scale them up to terabytes of data, even petabytes of data. And also it's managed, so the Azure handles hardware maintenance, updates, and critical issues for you. It's accessible from anywhere over HTTP or HTTPS. And yeah, of course, Microsoft provides SDKs for in variety of language you can code and access, like Java, Python, PHP, Ruby, and others. Also, there are tons of mature REST API or REST API you can call. All right, and I'll even mention we have the you can manipulate this storage account service using PowerShell uh, and the Azure CLI. So Azure essentially divide storage into four different parts. So not four different types. There is blobs, there are files, and tables and queues. Each of these have their unique, let's say, features. So I think the blobs and files may be already familiar with you, but not the tables and queues, right? So blob storage is essentially unstructured data, text or binary data. So if you've done any file share migration from your on-premises to SharePoint Online, or from your SharePoint server to SharePoint Online or OneDrive, either way. So you have, if you ever use the tool called the SharePoint Migration Tool provided by Microsoft, you should know that it divided into two parts. The first part is staging. It will migrate all your data into Azure Blob, which is, they say, unstructured data. And the second part, it will push your data into your destination URL. So it's your OneDrive, personal sites or SharePoint team sites. And Azure Files is essentially like a cloud file share service. So because the on-prem you have the local file share, right? So you computers can access them in your own local network. So Azure Files you can treat as its extend to your on-prem network, network storage to Azure. So as we talk about, it's accessible. So it will provide you with an URL, which we're going to show actually in the next session. But anyway, this URL is accessible from your local network. If you have connectivity to the internet, and you can map that to a drive letter that's you already been using, so it's some kind of like a local file share to you where we can access. So if you remember that SharePoint, if you know SharePoint, so SharePoint also have this option to, if you using IE, not Chrome or Edge, it have this option to open the current directory in SharePoint in File Explorer, which will be a network address, and you can map that network address to a drive letter of your preference. So it's kind of behave the same, the same behavior if you're familiar with that. So coming to table storage. So table storage is now part of the Azure Cosmos database. Uh, to the existing Azure Table Storage service, there is a new Azure Cosmos DB Table API offering, provides throughput optimized tables, global distribution, and automatic secondary index. And yeah, they're great for storing, schema-less storage of unstructured data. And it's Azure Queue service. So what is a queue service, right? So this is used to store and retrieve messages. So the messages can be up to 64 KB in size, so not really large. And the queue can contain millions of messages. So that's one of the benefits. They're generally used to store a list of messages to be processed. So for example, say you want your customer to be able to upload pictures and you want to generate thumbnails for each one of those pictures they uploaded. So you could have your customer wait for you to create the thumbnails while uploading the pictures, but an alternative solution would be use a queue. When the customer finish the upload, write a message to the queue, then have the Azure function retrieve this message from the customer, from the queue actually, and create the thumbnails. So each one of the parts of this processing can be scaled separately, giving you more control when turning for your usage. So that's essentially the four type of storage. But blobs actually can break apart into more types itself. Well, we're gonna talk about this in this session later. So there are two different tiers for storage. If you remember when we created the virtual machine, right? There's the second part of the disks. That's the storage. Actually, you have to select whether it's standard HDD, standard SSD, or premium SSD. So it's the more the bottom of the drop-down list is more expensive. And remember, doesn't matter where you select the storage account still charges you money. So unlike the virtual machine itself, the OS, if you deallocate the virtual machine, it stops charging you money. But for premium disk, especially even if you turn the machine on, you can see the money still goes up in your weekly or monthly subscription review. You can see there's a huge chunk consumed by your SSD drive. So for testing purpose, I highly suggest you use the standard HDD because by default it selects the standard SSD. All right, and storage type. So there are two types, V2 and V1. V2 the latest, also is the recommended. V1 is the legacy one. So there's another one, of course, is a blob storage, as we earlier last slide introduced. So the V2 accounts, so this one is the general purpose account, supports the latest Azure storage features and incorporates with all the functionality of a general V1 and blob storage account. So V2 account deliver the lowest per gigabyte capacity price for Azure storage. Also, as well as industry competitive transaction price, general purpose. V2 storage account supports many services, the four types blob, queue, disk files we introduced before. And of course, it's recommended by Microsoft. Of course, you can upgrade a V1 to V2 if you choose. So but you cannot downgrade. You can upgrade. For V1, it's provide access to the all Azure storage service, but may not have the latest feature or lowest per gigabyte pricing. So the legacy accounts for blobs, files, and queues and tables as well. So still use V2 if it's possible for you. Just use V2. So we mentioned the term per gigabytes pricing. Right? What's that? So I may bring this up in previous sessions. So if you have throughput through your storage account, say you're putting data or you're downloading data, right? So that's the throughput of the bandwidth anyway of this account. So that's where I'll charge you money per gigabytes wise. So there's a docs talk about how many money will charge per gigabytes as well. So the blob storage accounts is a specialized storage accounts for storing the unstructured object data. That's blob or blob storage accounts provide the same durability, availability, and scalability and performance feature, which is available in V2 as well. All right, so I talk about blob, right? So there's also a pen blob. So no page blobs. Anyway, this will be covered later, so just remember for now they're specialized for storing unstructured object data. And talking about the accessibility, right? So we talk about you have to you can access the storage account from anywhere with internet connectivity, right? So this is because Azure generates the storage account in a way that's in this format you see here. So it's http dash forward slash forward slash your storage account name dot blob dot core dot windows dot net, right? So there's one way you can access. Another way is if you prefer your own custom domain. So say you want to have your own contoso.com there, so you can provide a C name to map that. So it can be blobs.console.com, and the target will be contosoblobs.blob.core.windows.net. So there are many ways you can access that. For my demo account, it's I don't have a domain register under it, so I have the default Microsoft given on Microsoft.com, that one. So now we're gonna demo this, how to create this storage account. So let me bring up my, oops, it's here. All right. So sure, let's just create from the UI first, and let's create a new one. So it's demo storage. Right, the name must be unique in here. So this will call it demo 00123. All right. So East US with like standard, it's cheap. Recommend V2. Replication. So okay, so this it's not hard, right? I think we introduced it. So locally, it's on the same data center zone. It's within the same geographic location. Say it's East US. I think they have East US too as well, right? Yeah. So it's will be in that same region. Will replicate and do the redundancy. And geo is across the region, so it won't be in West US. It's probably going to be in UK or Asia, right? So hot and cool. So if it's you need constant access, frequent access to the storage, you select hot. Otherwise, you select cool. Right. So we can review and create. So it's enough, but there's advanced settings. If you're interested, you can you can browse all this. So if you're having troubles understand what you don't have to Google it or anything. There is a you can click the information sign, will generally tells you what is what. All right, so the secure transfer requires basically if you allow it to access with HTTP, so HTTPS. So in case if that way, then uh, all the access from HTTP will be rejected. So it's only allow the protocol HTTPS, and you can select your network to perform. But I don't currently have any at this moment, so we ignore that. All right, so let's just review and create. Again, if you want to do your customization, you can download the template to do that. All right, we just hit create. And while that's been creating, we open PowerShell to create this in PowerShell. Just copy the command here. Oh, wait, give me a second. Control C. Let me just run this one by one. Let's see. I think maybe the location I selected is not available. Maybe that's the reason. So it keeps changing. Anyway, let's see. We paste this. Okay, so let's try this now. This is actually better, so we can see all the available locations. So west to west is there anyway. Never mind, we'll just run this one by one so you can see how it's happening. Resource group, we create a new resource group. All right, so new resource group will be created under this location. All right, and we create a new storage account under that. Hopefully the name is duplicated. So while that's creating, we go to the first one we created. Here it's okay, you can see this one is actually creating anyway. Let's see. Oh, there are two. I think, okay, never mind. This is the one creating the UI. Still deploying, so we just wait for it. The one using PowerShell is actually created pretty fast. Storage demo. Okay, I didn't expect that to happen, but anyway, here you go. So we create this storage account using the PowerShell. And if you click into here, you can see there are blobs, files, tables, and queues. There's your for storage there. Okay, let me check if it's one bound down by UI. Okay, it's there as well. So deployment successful. It's fairly simple for creating the storage account, right? So for access controls, it's still here at the other virtual machines. That page is not loaded for some reason. Okay, here you go anyway. So you should remember how we done this, right? We done this for the logs demonstration before. So if you create a log, so only the user access administrator and owner can delete the log. The other person, they cannot delete the log, right? Even when the log is placed, no one can delete the resource. Excuse me. It's been cold weather here. All right. Okay, let me close this. So now let's jump over to our PPT. So this is fun, right? Actually, one of my, I won't say favorite thing, but I love what Microsoft does. So the Azure Storage Explorer, by the way, the link to download this is in the description. So this is essentially, you can treat it as the on-prem interface to your storage account in the Azure. So you can access different accounts, by accounts, tenants, or subscription, and you can there's many ways, of course, to connect to each one of those uh, storage services, right? There's the connection string, there's a SAS token, there's a key, you use the primary key, not the secondary key to access. So there are many ways you can access your storage accounts. So you can place files there. It's also available for you to download and view the files being uploaded. All right, and it's also available for, as I said, Windows, Mac, and Linux. So all the operating system it's supported. All right, so yeah, I won't just do the demo here. So I won't just go through the PowerPoint. It's not really that much thing to do, right? So we open the thing here. So this is it. All right, so you can see I already connect to my Steam my account. So again, this is my email. If you have any questions in Azure, you can feel free to email me using this. All right, so yeah, so you can manage your accounts here. So you can see that's my I sign in where with this one, and I only have one subscription down there. So of course you can add another one, or you can choose different subscription to manage. So you can click connect. There are many ways to connect as we introduced. So of course, we're using Azure, right? It's not Azure China, Germany, US government. So those are isolated data centers, right? We're using the global one, the one that's in 154 regions and 140 countries, right? So you can use a connection string, SAS signature, or account key, or a local emulator. So the emulator provides you with, basically to practice your skills on horning the Azure Storage Explorer. But anyhow, let's first don't do this, right? You can see the available storage I have here. So I can see I have some files here. So this is the boot dial snake snapshots I took for my virtual machines, right? So this is a client that my domain controller, my mail, SCCM, SharePoint, and there's even one for VPN. Okay, never mind. So you can see all the files within the storage accounts can be viewed from here as well. So you can double click and it even tells you it's a page blob, which is fantastic. So, all right, let's open this here. So it's just a snapshot of the machine, of the book diagnostic. So it shows you whether it's updating, applying settings, or configuring updates, or it's shutting down, or it's have the logging page, right? So it's have that. So now let's go to the same one. So Ghost123. If I go to my storage account, Ghost123 under Blob. Yeah, the same one here, right? So book diagnostic for clients. So they're the same, essentially the same thing we can see, right? But here you see I have to click into different blades to view everything. But for the Storage Explorer, it just gave me everything I need on the same page, right? It doesn't have all the blades thing. It's showing, and it has more granular uh, metadata, if you call it, to show, right? Which I really love it. And you can copy the URL for this, right? So, and you can place it in a different uh, in your browser. Oh, my bad. I placed it in the different screen. Anyway, I don't have anything there to show because it's empty at the moment. Anyway, let's close this. And I don't think I believe I have anything under files. Yeah, I don't have anything. But for the others, it's newly created. See files. Okay, I do have one here, but that's my so this is my Cloud Console, which is the PowerShell and Azure CLI Cloud Shell. So if you remember this, so you must need a storage account for to run uh, your Cloud Shell, right? So they need to store, the things you uploaded, command you put, in somewhere at least. All right. So let's now place this here, and we go to our portal. So the one we have created, it's using demo 00123. So here's the access key, right? You can access this via your key. So let me okay, let me not open this anyway. So oops, it's blocked my view. Add account. So we connect using a key. I need to sign in first. My bad. Uh, okay. Did I type anything wrong? Okay, I typed my account wrong. Sorry, let me hide this. Okay, it could take a while for me to sign again, but either way. So yeah, one way to access is using the key, right? As we introduced. So you copy the primary key to do that, or using the string, connection string. Okay, password pops up finally. Waiting for authentication. I'm sorry. Yeah, I forgot I have three screens here, so I always forgot that I put it on a different screen. Okay, fantastic. All right, so I seem to log in twice, but anyway, let me remove one. So give it a name. So we'll give this AZ-103 demo. Account name is demo 00123. Account key, we copy the key. All right, so next, connect. Oh, again, my bad. I always do this for some reason, so I have to keep I have to put a post here. Do not do this on the screen. So you can see here is the one I just connected. So if you didn't see, I just using a connect the name and key, right? You just putting the key there. So this is the key. So I copied anyway. Close this. So demo123, I have nothing here, file share or anything. It's totally empty. Yeah. So I have no child resource for some anyway. So it's only able to load. Yeah. All right. So there's my other storage as well. Okay. So yeah. Uh, okay, connection. So you can use the connection string as well, which is the same. So let me just drag here. Connection string, next, display, oops, display name, let's say it's new demo 00123. And then we copy the strings. Oops, do this here. All right, so there's what do I name it again? It's okay. Okay, demo, new demo. Sorry, I forgot the new name. So here we go. I connect this one as well. Again, I have nothing under it, so it won't able to load. Yeah. Okay, so that's our demo for how you connect with the File Explorer. It's a really cool thing. So you don't have to go to the portal all the time to manage your, especially for storage account at least, so you can manage from here, right? So the other thing like connect the VMs and these things uh, it's not part of the exam actually. So and this part as for how much will be put on the exam it's still unknown because as far as I know for now it's not really covered and it's optional, but I'm eligible and required to show you this tool. All right, so let's go to our PowerPoint again. All right. Okay, now we talk about blob storage. We generally introduced what is a blob storage. Now I'm going to do more granular thing talk here. So again, it's unstructured data, so it's a text or binary, and also referred to as the object storage as well. So if you're familiar with this, so here's the I would say the the structure of it. So you have for example, account name Sally, right? Or the person named Sally, and you can create different containers within the blob storage. The containers within the blob storage, right? You have to create it. It's not by default there. You can create one pictures and upload the pictures over there. So you can say, hey, this is seems structured. Yes, so this is structured, but otherwise, if you just upload everything, there's unstructured in a way. So the container, right? What's the container? So it's a container. It provides a grouping of set of blobs. So our blobs must be in a container. So an account can contain an unlimited number of container. Remember this, it's unlimited number of container, right? And the container can store unlimited number of blobs. So you can create this container in Azure Portal, uh, or Azure PowerShell, CLI, all those. And there are three levels. So what is the public access level? The public access level, uh, as we show here, right? Public, it's actually this one. So I think I may jumped through my talking point, but anyway. So this three is the public access level, right? So you have to select one. So specify whether data in the container may be accessed publicly. So by default, the container data is only private to the account owner. So using the private to ensure no anonymous access to the container blob. Use blob, the one blob, to allow anonymous public and read access for blobs only. And use the container to allow anonymous public read list access to the entire container, including blobs. So you can treat this as a three level of sharing in SharePoint as well. So it's kind of based on that, right? So uh, Okay, let's go to the next one. So also the access tier, right? So we talk about there's hot, cool, but also another one called archive, right? So the hot is inferred. So the hot tier is optimized for frequent access, as we talk about, of your objects in the storage account. So uh, the hot tier is in a way most cost effective, while the storage accounts are somewhat higher. So any new storage account you have are created in the hot tier by default, as we saw in the UI. What is cool? The cool tier is, it's good for storing large number of data that's, infrequently accessed and stored for at least 30 days. So storing data in this cool tier is more cost effective, but accessing that data may be somewhat more expensive than accessing in hot tier. So the comparison, one is for frequent access, one is for non-frequent access, and one is for cool, it's store the data for at least 30 days, and it's not really cost effective compared to the hot. And archiving, I'm sorry, archive. The archive tier is specifically for data that can be tolerated several hours of retrieval latency, and it will remain in the archive tier for at least 180 days. So this is the most cost-effective option for storing data. You know why? Because we talk about retrieving data, downloading, uploading. It's charged per gigabytes cost. If it's putting archive, you don't have any throughput of from here anyway, right? So that's why it's most cost effective. Of course, you can switch from either three between, right? You can downgrade from hot. It's not really downgrade in this case. You can just change from hot to cool and to archive, or from archive jump to hot. So the blobs that we talk about, there are three different ones. So blob, which is the default one selected, and page blob and append blobs. And any of this, once you create it, the type cannot be changed. So this is different. So there's a number of things in Azure which is you have to get your hands on it and get familiar, because a lot of things you can switch, but a lot of things you cannot switch, right? So this have to keep in mind. I don't really have a pattern for like as for which can be switched, which cannot. Because it's across different servers, they have their own rules in a way. So and Azure may change that rule in the future. So I try to come up with a pattern for people to easily remember it, but unfortunately there's no pattern whatsoever. So let's back to it. So the block. They consist of blocks of data assembled to make a blob. So most scenario that's using the block storage employ block blobs. Block blobs are ideal for storing text and binary data, so that's the default one we talk about. So binary data in the cloud, like files, images, videos. Append blobs are block blobs in that they are made up of blobs, but they are optimized for append operations. So uh, they're useful for logging scenarios. And page blobs can be, I think, up to 8 terabytes of size and more efficient for frequent read and write options. Right, so the virtual machine that we created is using page blobs as the OS and data disks. So you can actually connect to. So I don't think I have one here, but anyhow, so if you recall our each of the virtual machines, right? So if we go to the resource scoop, so the one I have most of virtual machines on, so they have their own storage account underneath, right? So, oops, these two is under that. So they have their disks, which is one of the within the storage account. So those are page blobs, all right? Okay, let's jump into the second one, and the access policy. So this is somehow different than the access control. So you have to get your mind around it. So this is a difference. So access control is for ways so who can control this resource, but access policy is for the service itself, right? Who can read, add, create, write, and delete the data within and from what time. So you can create a policy to do that. So we're gonna show this along the talking, so I think it's easier. So let me go to my storage accounts. Uh, no, let's use the one I create demo. There's a 123. So access policy, it's blobs. Let's do the container thing first, all right? So it's a demo container. We select this to be okay, the most unsafe one. All right, it's been created. Okay. Uh, okay. Let's forget about this access policy. You can add a policy from here. So legal hold time-based retention. Uh, okay, I guess that's why, because I don't have the access. Okay, so we have to wait for a couple minutes apparently. So I think the other one I may have something there already, right? That's we saw. Okay, see if let me collect from here. Okay, so it's much better. That one I don't have access. So you can select which of the options I can do. It's you can you have to select one at least. You cannot do nothing, right? So you have to select the permission here and select the time that this person has this access. All right, you can do it from here. Okay, cool. So I think that one is still provisioning for some reason. Okay, so let's just wait for it anyway. All right, so I think I forgot to demonstrate this. I demonstrate where connection string, right, but not the SES connection string, right? So this one give you more granular control, similar to the access policy, where you can choose what service is allowed, what resource type is allowed, and what action is allowed in what time and time zones, and even allow the HTTP. Sorry, that's the one, but the IP address. So you can see it's the loudest, and it's from HTTP or HTTPS or both. And the key using key 1 or key 2. So this is more granular control actually. Anyhow, let's jump back to the PowerPoint and the pricing. So finally, we keep talking about this, but we didn't really show the price of it, right? So you can see it's uh, per gigabyte based. So uh, so well, anyhow, just there's all this rest storage cost, blob storage, data access cost, transition cost, all of this. So anyway, all of this will charge you money, right? You're changing the storage tier. So if you change it from too cool to hot, it occurs a charge equal to the reading all the data existing in storage account, But changing the account storage tier from hot to cool incurs a charge equal to writing all the data into the cool tier. So if you switch tier, you are essentially transfer all the data to a different location. There is no service interruption, but you are essentially transferring all data to a different, you can see like from a drive to another drive. So it charges your money from there. And outbound data transfer cost. So this happens, incurs billing for bandwidth usage on per gigabyte basis as well. And also for transaction cost. So per transaction charge for all the tiers increase as a tier gets cooler. And geo-replication data transfer cost, the charge only applies to account with the geo-replication configured, right? If you select ARIS, redundancy, the ARIS or ZRS is no charging. And data access cost, of course. So this, increase as the tier gets cooler as well. For example, in data in the cool and archive storage tier, you are charged per gigabyte data for reads. Okay, so all this are assured the ways of Azure charges your money, right? You can say it's fairly cheap, right? It's only less than two. It's not even 2 cents per month. But that's only like 2 megabytes, right? But for production environment, you have terabytes of data read and write uh, every month. So it's more than that. So it's sometimes more than terabytes. The big processing company, they have terabytes of data processed uh, per day, even per morning. So I see that happening. So uh, yeah, it's actually cost a lot. All right. So yeah, so now we're gonna. I think we already demonstrate the container thing. So let me bring back here. So anyway, let me just demonstrate this first, right? Since I forgot to do this. So for this one, demo 0123, we generate the SCSS connect string. So you can see it's different connect string, and there's a URL, right? So if you can copy this and you can view it from this URL, but I have nothing there, so that's why it's give you a, a warning sign. Not really warning sign, an arrow, but you know it's accessible anyway, right? Okay, so we go to our, I forgot which one. So you can connect with this. So the one I have demonstrate, do I have this already demo? Okay, I already have this, but again, so you can do this where this option, shared access signature, right? You can provide this URI, right? And the endpoint for each one, which is here, essentially. Yeah. All right, let me close this. So go to, did that one finished? Creation. Let's see. Still. Okay, never mind. We use a different one though. I have so many here, so it's it's ghost. It's ghost. All right, we can use either one, so we can upload. Right, you can select a file. Oops, this is my demo file. So let's see, if I have any pictures. Let me use the Elon Musk. I think it's a really cool picture. So you can override if the file already exists. Of course, this is based on the name of the file, not the content. So it's similar as you having on-prem the data deduplication service, right? It tracks for whether the file already exists. All right, so we do not care about advanced. So we upload. Okay, it's there. So now if we go here, actually, uh, let's see, oops, ghost. So blob container. Or say, I'll be damned, it's there. Unsub the file name, okay. Encode file, all right. Yeah, there we go. Car and mending space. Cool. All right, so here we go. And also you can delete that from here as well. So will be also if you refresh from here, it's pretty. There's no refresh. Let me just click into a different one. Okay, it's here. It's haven't updated yet, but let's give it some time. So, oh, my bad. I need to delete from here. So, if you'll pardon me, so I have to delete from here. And also, you notice there is the SAS as well. So you can control this in a very granular feature. You can grant the SS on a per file basis as well. Anyway, you can download that. It will be the same. So it's, but let's just delete that from here. Okay, and it should be gone now. If I refresh, yeah, it's gone. So it's pretty straightforward and fast. All right, so we're up to our 44 minutes. So I was quite precise on my time here. Yeah, we will do the Azure files and the lesson 4 in the next session.